Salutations, utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Busy night in basketball. First and foremost, congratulations to the Detroit Pistons, man. They look like a We Believe version of the Golden State Warriors. Back when they had the Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson Ball Club, Don Nelson. God rest his soul. Love Donnie, man. Straight up legend. Um, Listen, this video is not coming because of the loss to San Antonio Spurs tonight, even though Mamu looked like the ghost of Matt Bonner and Aaron Baines. I'm not tripping on that, dog. Like, losses are losses. We all lose some, we all win some. I've lost way more than I've ever won, and I've actually gotten comfortable with losing in life. I find life in losing, to be honest with you. That's where a lot of answers are revealed. They have a saying, in fact, bad times make strong men make good times makes weak men. The cycle continues. So I'm not tripping on San Antonio, even though there's no Wemby or no De'Aaron Fox. I'm not even tripping on that. But the Knicks and the eve of the regular season trade that happened for the quote-unquote for Karl Towns. Let me just stop. I'm not even gonna, for Karl Towns and that Minnesota deal. And it has nothing to do with even Minnesota going on that, whatever was it, 13-game win streak, 8-game, whatever. Now they've lost the last two, lost tonight to Zion and CJ McCollum. But it's Zion. Zion is waiting in the cusp. New Orleans would be in first place. Zion is the guy who's going to take the throne from LeBron after he's gone, and do what he needs to do with it if he can hold on a little bit longer. But it's finally rearing its ugly head, and the truth is coming out. And I might not have big time backing, but what I'm always going to be backed with is the facts and the truth, most of the time at least. And it's what I've been saying from the beginning. I don't care about stats, bro. It's funny how everyone's so woke when it's Angel Reese stat padding, but then when it's Karl Towns, nobody can see what's going on. Whole roster full of 6, 7, and below players, and he's stacked always 5-14 second in the league in rebounds. Oh, another big performance tonight. 30 points, 5 threes. Eastern Conference starter in the All-Star. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Knicks fleeced. And every time I said, hold on, stop. No, don't do that to yourself. Because what's going to happen right now is we are separating. You're going to leave yourself as a person you can't come back if you're one of those people who told me the Knicks fleeced the Wolves. Tim Connolly got fleeced. You can't come back from that. You are assed out exposed now. Anybody that told me that got on the record and said that was a great trade for the Knicks and couldn't see the empty calorie victories that they were accumulating, you don't know ball. You don't know ball, and you're not qualified to talk ball anymore. Simple. Not on my timeline. Not in my ear. This is what I'm saying. Nowadays, anybody can get a page, upload, get credentials, call themselves an expert. There's only few that really know what's going on, and I could barely find anyone that could read this trade correctly. Same guy who told you that the Bulls won the three-way trade. Same guy who last year told you the Mavericks were going to the finals off of the acquisitions they made in PJ and Daniel Gafford. And even cited history that later on was recited on national television after I had the post up and bookmarked from anonymous people. This is what separates the pros. And you got too many loudmouths barking off at the mouth, cracking jokes, and don't know what they're talking about. Blind leading the blind. And because they're getting numbers like the great, who was it, Immortal Technique? Just because a million people buy it doesn't mean that it's real. It just means a million people are stupid. And the Knicks are left with a sad picture. Because now we're supposed to believe, oh, it's because of Jalen Brunson's ankle. No, they were on the highway of nowhere well before that. Nice try. And the highlight of all this, because recently, like as of 2 days ago, AT&T does some type of commercial. College buddies can still keep in contact. And the irony of that, because the Knicks, the whole thing was the Villanova and keep in contact with your college buddies. Guess what? That's exactly who the Knicks are. They look like Villanova when they play against elite comp. And Doris Burke on national television the whole time while they were playing kept saying recently, to the point where people were calling for her job, but she's a savant. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. She's enshrined in Basketball Hall of Fame. Another ball knower is like, this is all fine and dandy. But guess what? You're not going to do it when it matters, are you? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. And they turn into the Villanova boys, all right, when it's time to go against elite competition. I don't have a problem with Mikal Bridges' acquisition. You got more draft picks than roster spots. I do have a problem with OG Anunoby getting $212 million and then everyone else is being asked to take a pay cut. I don't know what happened there. DiVincenzo in the commercial talking about, man, we thought we were going to play together. He's a free agent this offseason. They got Shannon over there. We could have played. No, you need to go make that happen. Come up off of Cameron Payne, come up off of Landry Shamet, and everybody else you got to. I need DiVincenzo back in New York. Because losing DiVincenzo is equivalent to losing Jimmy Butler in Miami. You have a certain continuity and an identity that you brew. Why do the Warriors excel right now? Podziemski, 4 guys who get considerable minutes. And defense wins championship. 4 guys. GP2, Podziemski, Draymond, and Jimmy now. They all play with reckless abandonment. They don't give a damn about their body. They don't care. Jimmy was able to merge the gap between Tyler Hero, Bam, Pat Riley. He spoke all those guys' language. He can hang with anyone. He was a chameleon. He's a throwback old school guy who's about his paper. He's about his feria. That's the problem. DiVincenzo, same thing. I can relate to Hart. I can relate to Brunson. I know how to stay in my lane. I can step up and be a first. The same way you see Austin Reeves getting all that love and attention, that's who DiVincenzo is. But DiVincenzo is Austin Reeves on steroids. That's right, I said it. He might not be as natural of a point guard, but any other department, rim protecting, on-ball defense, three-point shooting. It's not a little bit of post-action. DiVincenzo is at that ceiling where it's just at the border of like starter and bench player. But either way, he's a spicy dude. He's going to get out. He's going to go out there and lay it on the line the way Hart does, who just tied Walt Frazier for most triple doubles in a season. Yeah, you took away his right hand man. How do you not see that Randall, another old school guy? Why do you think Ant and Randall click? Why do you think Conley went and got Randall instead of Carl and got rid of Karl Towns? Because they speak that old school language that he speaks, that he moves with. Ant's a throwback player. He's like the 90s. Same thing with DiVincenzo, throwback player. So when you see this happening right now and how it's unfolding, where we're talking potentially the Knicks are a first-round exit, they might lose to Detroit. They might lose to an Atlanta. Not Atlanta. No, they'll whoop Atlanta. They'll whoop Atlanta, who's 7th seed right now, I think, 7th or 8th. It's like a toss-up between the Pistons and the Hawks. It's crazy. And then this is the latest thing that really finally pushed me over where I have to make a video. So Matt Barnes, after, as you all know, Draymond called out Cat for dodging the smoke, allegedly. His words. And Jimmy Butler, also ran with Cat in Minnesota. That's the other thing I just don't understand. How could Tibbs have greenlight greenlit this trade, knowing that you already wasn't too fond of him in Minnesota. School Tibbs is an old school kind of throwback guy. You know, how did you like, you already bumped heads with him. Why would you relive that chapter again? Well, I mean, I know what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of Luka Doncic thing where the Wolves are the franchise, they're not able to. But the Wolves, the thing is, Dallas got more money than the Wolves. That's weird. So I don't think it's that. I think with Luka was completely just an attitude thing. With the Wolves, it was like, we need to get a dog in here. Ant was playing one on, Ant, Nas Reed, you know, but that $60 million a year contract forced the Knicks to have to be the big franchise once again. Remember, the Knicks always take care of these smaller market teams at the end of the fiscal year, like the Indiana Pacers. But I'm watching all this unfold, and I'm just like, Draymond is talking about he's dodging smoke. Cat goes, I have a family tragedy. I didn't even watch the game because I said, if I don't hear about a fight or a tussle in the first 5 minutes or someone getting ejected, I already got all the answers I needed to know. Well, let me take it to a step further. In that Golden State game, as you all know, Cat took it very personal with Draymond said. And yet in the game, Draymond is still barking at him. No apology, even though he's like, yo, you crossed the line. I lost a family. He said he lost a family member, and you still double down when they ask him to apologize because he's mad DiVincenzo. The only reason why he's cool with DiVincenzo leaving Golden State or DiVincenzo, because they had to wait on Clay. So of course Clay's going to get priority. But DiVincenzo is the equivalent to Gary Payton, Podziemski, and Clay combined. He's light years better than Buddy Hield. It's not even close. It's not even close. Dante DiVincenzo, I said it, is light years better than Buddy would ever be in his life if he had multiple lifetimes to try. It's not close. And this reminds me when the Knicks traded for Carmelo and the Nuggets had to take Mozgov off their hands. Mozgov was coming into his own, even had some 2020 games, and I'm like, oh my God, because that derailed everything. That forced the Knicks to go get Tyson Chandler. They were going to get CP3 and pair him with Amari. But since Melo couldn't wait till the offseason, now the Knicks have to go completely different direction. When the Nuggets took Mozgov, it pulled everything out and just set them back and made the whole entire thing go to waste. It was a scrap. Because now they had to go. And Tyson Chandler, they worked that man like a dog. I mean, his minutes, you could speed him up in dog years. Taking Dante DiVincenzo from the Knicks, it took the air out of this team. They have no semblance of identity. Even McBride, who's a football player, background, went to West Virginia, one of them gritty West Virginia dudes, right? He doesn't have the same. He doesn't even have the same reckless. Like Dante was so contagious, everyone would. That's what I'm saying, man. The spirit is gone, man. He's a New Yorker, bro. That number was going to get retired. That 0 was supposed to be retired in his name. And now you're going into the playoffs and you're just like, bro, let's get this thing over with. And they're already, Brunson is going to come back. Listen, bro, it's the timeline in this rebuild. They're in just a bad situation as the Sixers, if you ask me. It's the same, no direction. Now, they're going to have to go in the offseason and try to find a versatile four and try to salvage this lineup. But I don't want to hear the Zion talk. I don't want it that way. I don't want to see that nonsense. Small market teams getting robbed so that, a big market team who just constantly refinances their future can get bailed out. That's not right. Don't get it misconstrued for a second. What happened with the Lakers was just like some made up rules type bullshit, moving the goalposts and just we make the rules, we break the rules type thing. I didn't like it. It was a breach of the holy covenant of the spirit of competition. You don't get bailed out for doing dumbass shit. And that's what the Lakers had been doing for years. And they shouldn't have been able to get bailed out for that recklessness. But they did. They got handed a beautiful get out of jail free card. Which, don't get me wrong, if everything was healthy in Dallas, they would possibly win a ring. I hear Anthony Davis might still make it back this season, and then they would be some type of play-in team, maybe on the outside looking in. Prayers to the Mavericks. I don't. They almost bad as the Pelicans right now. There's some weird mojo. They almost are at the point where they might have to forfeit some games. But anyways, you know, this is it. There's no fixing this. And this ain't no victory lap for me. I don't want to see anybody suffer. But don't piss and say it's rain. If you going, this is what this is. This is what it is. And I called it for exactly for what it is. Okay, so on a lighter note, I heard great news today. NBA Inside Stuff got trademarked. NBC might be bringing it back. It's great for the culture. It's great for the sport. We need someone to delve in to basketball in a different light, where it's not rage bait outside of rage bait or LeBron and Jordan or LeBron and the other comments. Now the new topic is so sad. It's just like what people will do for content creation. But hey, I'm not a full-time guy. I'm not here to judge nobody, but I wouldn't go to those levels that some of these people are doing. If you know what they're trying to do now. Dan Le Batard recently was crazy in the latest installment of that. But, I'm happy for NBA Inside Stuff might be getting rehashed. Congrats. It's great for the culture, great for the sport. Prayers up to the Knicks. I don't know how this is going to work. Going into the postseason now, we're under 2 weeks away, I think. It is what it is, though. I hope this was informative. I hope it was interesting. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Global, out.